I'm going to read from my poetry collection, Small Talk, which has been published in 11 different colors, and all aspects of the bookmaking process are handmade by various artists from Eastern India. It was published by Writers Workshop India. So I think I'm going to pick the blue one to read because there's too much red here, and I don't think I can handle that. I'm going to start with a poem from my mom because she's here. Well, she's heard it enough times, so I think she's tired of just hearing it over and over. I wrote it because I was thinking about how my mom was before she had me, because I remember she once said, "I hated children before I had you," which I do not recommend. And so, yeah, I'm going to read the poem that I wrote for her. It's titled Sandalwood, and it's on this page, if I remember correctly. But, yeah. It's titled Sandalwood. In my mother's room, there is a kind of light I cannot drape. In the sandalwood closet, her wedding sari hangs with the ripple of temple bells ringing. Here is the Hindi I don't speak. It is the color of my mother on her wedding day. Ma, 27, tucking in this continent of herself, almost close to the light. What moon shone that day? Answer, in other words. So that was my first poem, thank you. And then I'm going to read a poem titled Aligarh, which I wrote for Professor Siras, who was a professor and a poet at Aligarh Muslim University. But because he was gay, he was put in prison. That was at a time when homosexuality was criminalized in India. It was recently decriminalized last year. But yeah, great. But yeah, I wrote a poem for him. There was a very great movie made on his life and work, and I was really touched by that. Aligarh. His arms around the boy's neck, like trees, I know, by their taste in the mouth. On such days, rain wilts rooftops, where two boys who smell each other through the blockage can hear the vendors shouting prices for the smallest things. Yeah, and I write very short poems, so you get over it like really soon, before you know it. But this one's called Night and Back, and it was written after the poet Agha Shahid Ali. He was a Kashmiri American poet. I almost wish I could write this again because of the ongoing crisis in Kashmir, and this poem hasn't aged well. I wrote it 2 years ago, and it's only gotten worse. But here's a poem that I wrote after Agha Shahid Ali and what he thought of Kashmir. Kashmir, you are a name I once had. The Gulmohar falls on my chest like a stone. I remember the geography of it, how the Chelam slithered your body to bruise. These are words I know for their own sake. I know what so much smoke can mean so close to home. So that was Night and Back. And let's see. I'm gonna read a poem called Small Talk, surprisingly, because obviously no poetry collection has a titled poem. So, surprise, here's a poem called Small Talk. I come from a very small town in Bhopal, called Bhopal, which is in central India. It's sadly known for the Bhopal gas tragedy, but yeah, it was just it's very different from New York, obviously. Everyone knows everyone. So I wrote this poem called Small Talk after my hometown. Small talk. In small towns like ours, the rivers are always ending. In small towns, not even the lilt in our voices ever touches us. In our towns, we forget why we walk, why we sometimes try. In our towns, we pray, mostly for everything we can remember. And now I'm going to move to a big town called Bombay, which is a lot like New York, but it's not New York because it's Bombay and it's in India, and it's always hot and humid or it's raining. So they don't have winters there, which I don't know if it makes it better or if it makes it worse because it's always hot. Hotter than New York, by the way, these past couple of days. So if you want to visit Bombay at your own risk, so Bombay. Sometimes I listen. Music hinging on your body. Sounds of ma, amma, ammi, mata, and you drowning. The radio's playing in the alleys, slipping back to the underfoot of this bog. How unnamed, unmanned. The sound of taxis, the people passing the sea-link road in clutching breaths, torn with now showing posters of Bachchan dancing in ice, Bombay velvet, disfiguring you. These impaired shadows, burning, spilling streetlights, barely plucking the sea, coming to your ridges and falling apart, rupturing the moon. They wound me more than you, Bombay. I've come to Bombay, where I literally I've only spent like 3 days of my life there, but it's a really nice city, and I was stranded at the airport for like 3 hours waiting for a taxi when it was raining. So I obviously had to write a poem on that to make the situation somewhat better. And then I think I'm gonna maybe 2 or 3 more poems if you're okay with that. And as you know, I write short poems, so none of them are gonna go on if they're too long. So this one's called Leaving. Listen, I play dead with everyone all the time. But here's the thing. Mother keeps this shadow and cleans these bones. The water kneading my toes into lattice work, pulling it like a drop out of the ocean. But please listen. Make this grave with your feet in such quiet that no noise can act, like it has seen a body before birth. And then I'm going to read a poem from the end of the collection because I haven't turned these pages. I'm going to read a poem called Io Sono Lì, which I wrote after a film that we were shown in our Italian class by Brian, who's here. And I was really touched by that film. It was the story of a Chinese immigrant in Italy, in a port town in Italy, and I highly recommend that you watch it. So yeah. Io Sono Lì. My body knows its language of drowning in the sea. There is a field of light, the moon, needles endlessly, and keen on burial it begs. Call the poet, ask him, why is this sea? Why is this body? So that is Ears on the Lead. And now, of course, all of you are going to go and watch the film tonight. But yeah, I'm going to end with a poem that is incredibly short, but it is also a poem that I was really inspired by. There's I'm like just inspired by artists and musicians, I guess, writers and films all the time. But there's this really nice artist, again, you should check him out. He's called Zakir Hussain. He did a concert in the town hall. He plays this Indian musical instrument called a tabla, and I really love the sound of the tabla. And he can literally play any sound you ask him to. You know, he can play a sound of like a horse running or like a bird chirping, all in that drum. I don't know how he does it, and obviously I can't play the tabla, so I can't even pretend to know. But so I wrote this poem called Water Birds because he imitated the sound of birds jumping from stone to stone with like water, and I was like, wow, that's cool. And I was in the concert hall. It was really dark, but you know, phones have torches, so I just quickly wrote like 3 lines. And they're here. So this poem is called Water Birds. The sound of the tabla crackles on the ears like 1,000 little water birds leaping stone to stone. So that's it. Thank you. My in 4 different colors from like $5 to $10. But if you want to pay more, I'm an idiot. Who's going to say no to that? And otherwise, it's available on Amazon, and I ship all of the orders myself. So you'll still get a signed copy. And if you let me know which color you want, I can also give you one of the 11 colors, whichever one. Just don't make it like sunset pink, because I really don't know what that means. So I'm just going pink. So yeah, thank you.
What's the significance of the colors?
Oh, they just, the publisher, Writers Workshop, they just publish every book in like different colors with different covers, and each of them are actually bound with a hand-woven sari made by an artist from Eastern India, so they're all bound with a hand-woven
The
sari.
book is beautiful, by the way. You should really get a copy of it.
Yeah, thank you.
Give it up for Devanshi.